I
At the end of all this, you just have to get rid of them damn dirt. Oh, hey, y'all.
You got my gumbo. I don't like it.
I'm sorry I asked, and then I was like, okay, I know they were ready watching, so I would have hit it, and then like had a short timer, and yeah, started talking again. I'm so sorry. All right, everyone, we are here to talk about The Last of Us, the first game and first season of the hit HBO show.
And also to talk about the relevancy of that name, The Last of Us, when you look at the amount of viewers that they're slowly hemorrhaging.
And the last,
That's more for the second season. Yeah,
the last time people be watching. Yeah.
That's
So, for those who don't know the story of The Last of Us, the game tells the story of Joel, who is tasked with transporting what he becomes. Okay, that is back. I skipped a whole bunch of shit. The major plot point, actually.
Mm-hmm.
All right. In this world, the cordyceps fungus has evolved and to the point where it affects humans and basically drives them and turns them to mindless zombies. And they attack and kill anyone that they get near or anything like that. And so the story takes place 20 years after the onset of this cordyceps, and is it outbreak? Outbreak is the word I was looking for.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Outbreak, bing, bang, boom. 20 years later, Joel is a fucking badass, murderous, mercenary who takes any job to survive, mostly alongside his partner. They were together, right? Girlfriend, partner.
Yeah, they kind of glued to it. Yeah, they've hooked up. Whatever that means in this universe.
So, they are tasked with transporting a little girl out of the city to Seattle, right?
Yes.
Yeah, to Seattle in order, and they're not really told why, but the only way out of the city, unfortunately, Tess doesn't make it. And then they also find out that the little girl is immune to the cordyceps virus. So he's basically been tasked with taking her to a hospital where they can study her, to his knowledge, study her and get a cure. Not unfortunately, Joel finds out that in order for them to even develop, so it wasn't, let me confirm, it was not guaranteed they will find a cure. This was just to study, correct?
I think it's kind of 50-50. It's the best chance for a cure. I'll put it that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's 50-50 shot whether or not they were going to cure and learn more about what they could do to find an immunity. Ellie was going to die. Mm-hmm. Joel couldn't let that happen, so Joel ends up killing everyone in an attempt to rescue, which he does, Ellie, and then he takes her back to his settlement that his brother is living in and helps in, and that's the game. The game has a rich storyline of how the government handled things after the outbreak, how certain encampments, or they're raiders in the first one too, right?
I think so.
You have to deal with the different bands of people in the book. They're fireflies.
You do it in the second game, but yeah, there are a handful of just people, groups of raiders, and
you got to deal with the remnants of the Fedra, which is the government. The Fireflies was the resistance, and then you do have some rebels and some raiders that you deal with from time to time, as well as dealing with a lot of infected who are in all kinds of stuff like that.
I think a big part you missed is the reason why he even does what he does and kills everybody is the beginning of the game is 20 years prior. It's pretty much day one, ground zero of this outbreak, and Joel and his daughter live alone, and pretty much everything pops off. So his brother, and his daughter try to escape the city that they're in. I think they're in Texas, and they try to escape, and they go through hell, cars on fire, people all over the place, infected, breaking in, all this other stuff, and they get through all that shit and went across this one soldier who is probably I just got in the military and apocalypse popped off shit. He got an order, pretty much his commander saying, wipe out everybody. He shoots at, or I think Joel's daughter was injured, so he's carrying her in his arms. And he's trying to tell the soldier she's not bit, she fell or whatever. The soldier shoots, he tries to shield his daughter ends up getting killed in the process. So that's the beginning of the fucking game. We fast forward 20 plus whatever years. He doesn't know anything about Ellie, but in the midst of their journey, he kind of becomes, because like they're going across the country. So you got to think this is probably 6 months to a year of them the country by foot.
Seasons change.
Yeah, seasons change. Sometimes they get by car.
So
they
are in the show, Wonder.
Yeah, right. And so they go through literal hell getting across the city, and they form a bond. And obviously that's a daughter to him because he lost his. And so when he finds out that the only way to get that cure, it's like it's something in her brain that they need to get, and the only way to get it is essentially
it's the way the cordyceps formed around her, attached to her brain without taking over her brain.
Exactly. And in order for them to get that, to study that, they need to pretty much kill her, and he ain't having that shit. So
well, it's not.
Yeah,
of course not. That's her dad now. Like
right. She don't know that she's in they got her in anesthesia the whole time, so she don't know about any of that.
Oh yeah, no, but like the whole like he won't let that happen. Like no, that's her dad now.
Right, exactly. That's his daughter. That's her dad. Exactly. So yeah.
So hold on.
I was actually asking or talking to Saint about that because one of the biggest things. Like I said, I didn't play the game. I'm currently looking at it now on YouTube. I'm watching the long all cut scenes and a little bit of playthrough version of it.
I think I've seen maybe one of the ones you're talking about. It's really good too.
Yeah. I do have questions about the casting. Not the one you think though. Now that I'm aware of the game, but the biggest thing I was looking at, like I heard before I even watching it, I heard about the Joel discourse and whatnot, and I thought it was. I thought it was partially, at least to people who didn't play the game, because it feels like you don't get enough time with him in the show versus in the game. Like you don't like the buildup is not there.
As far as he does what he does in the end.
Yeah. Because like you don't see the transformation from hard ass Joel to caring dad Joel.
Oh, I see. Because you spend 20, 30, I don't even know how long that first game is. It's probably 30 hours.
Yeah.
You have 30 hours of him trapped. I guess I can see that, but that's what 8 episodes. You gotta pack a lot of that stuff in. So,
right, and like you can do that with Flash, but there's ways to do that because other shows have done it too. I'm not slamming the show at all, because I'm still watching. I like what I'm seeing so far, especially the part of the first season. That shit was the shit with Nick Offerman, and his partner in that, fucking grade A,
right. But I can see some of the, like, if your first experience with this property is the show, I can see him turning at the end like, okay, that's fucking random. I can see that being the case.
Yeah. Especially with their characterization of him, because I was saying this, from what I've seen of the game versus what I'm seeing of the show, that's a different kind of Joel.
It is. And that's because when you cast Pedro Pascal, he's kind of he doesn't have that.
Thank you. Okay.
If you cast what's his name? Oh my god, hold on. The dude who was Bane.
Morgan or Tom Hardy?
Yeah, Tom Hardy, Jeffrey Dean Morgan is a good one too. They look like they can make that turn, and not because Jeffrey D. Morgan played Negan. They just look like that type of person.
It looked rough. Like
right.
I was telling Saint before the we did the last episode. It was like I like Pedro Pascal as an actor. Every time I've seen him, he's been good. And in The Mandalorian, he's actually threatening. I have never been scared of Joel in this.
Right, and I think that's because you cast him, and he's a great actor, and I like him in the role, but you don't feel like that turn is.
I also don't feel like his relationship with with Tess and with Ellie in the show gives him the room to do that. I have never seen anybody be worried about Joel.
I'm trying to think in the games, like you don't spend a lot of time with Tess in the games. Actually, you spend because she.
It's the part where they find out, and then it's quick scene, and then it's you get ran through into the hotel ish, I think, or that museum.
Hers getting out of that city, right? If I remember.
Yeah, because once you're out and you get to the place where she's supposed to meet the Fireflies, and they realize it's abandoned. That's when we're done with her. It's a little bit, but it's also quick.
Yeah,
it's unfortunate because she was really cool. I liked her character.
Yeah, and like I was saying, like I have a list of actors who I feel like had a life before they became actors. Like regardless of what it is, like they were construction workers or whatever. And like you said, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, he looks like that type of person. Like he had a job prior to becoming an actor, which I think he got started acting kind of late anyway. So he might have had that kind of life. And Pedro Pascal, I don't really know much about him before he became an actor, but
he just doesn't get that off.
Right. And nothing against him. Like I really enjoy
he's a phenomenal fucking actor.
Like
he just doesn't. He just don't have that dog in him.
Him and Ellie up until that turn, at the end. But at the same time, him making that turn can be scary because of how calm and unassuming he looks. He doesn't look like he could do that. So when he does do it, it's like, oh shit, he had this in him this whole time. But compared to the Joel in the game, that motherfucker, he could do that shit anytime.
Like on command. Yeah.
Right. He's Savage Joel in the game. So, especially when it comes to Ellie. But yeah, do y'all want to go? I haven't watched it since it came on HBO, so I had to refresh my memory when we go through it.
Oh, no worries. So the show itself follows the game point we mentioned earlier as well. Joel, we did not mention his brother Tommy. We mention Tommy in the beginning? Tommy's there with them in the beginning as well, and so everything for the most part, as far as I'm concerned, they stayed as true as they could possibly get with that first season of The Last of Us. We're going to pause for a second and say that a lot of people do have a lot of issues with the casting aesthetically, but I think we all agree after been watching it that this first season, Bella Ramsey, she's portrayed Ellie.
Pretty much killed it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we're all in agreement there.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That said, and one of the things I probably didn't, I assumed and didn't kind of spores in The Last of Us. There's multiple ways of being infected. Being bit is a primary one, but another very important one is spores. It's the reason why resources are low. It's the reason why, there's certain areas that people can't go to because there are spores and you can't breathe that stuff in. Otherwise, you're infected, blah, blah, blah. So when they didn't have that or any instance with that or cut out any of the major story with them having to go through anything having to do with sports, I understood because of that first season. You can't do everything. Sports is a huge thing. And then me and Warner literally just got to the sniper part.
Yeah.
I feel like game to show wise, that was beautifully done. How while that wasn't necessarily, they didn't necessarily have that whole Fedra town people or whatever thing happening, storyline happening in the game. It tied right into something that iconic scene when you're fighting your way up through that street with that sniper, and then all hell breaks loose because those people are at who it's not those people, it's just random raiders that are after you in the game, right? Yeah, okay.
People,
but they're the ones that cause that explosion. All those people come out. Joe gets back. So, we're now in the show without super spoilers where Joe got hurt, and now we're, Ellie's on her own or whatever. I think we're in the flashback episode where they covered the Left Behind DLC.
Which I didn't play that, but I do know the gist of that story.
I'm not going to spoil it for Wonder.
Mm-hmm.
Wonder, your thoughts? Ben, most, you've known of Last of Us, but you haven't played the games, but you have immersed yourself in the game universe as well as watch the show. What do you think?
I'm actually not mad at it. Once I was explained to about the characterization, and then I got to actually see. Sorry, I don't know if I was too far away. Once I got to see, once y'all explained to me the characterization of Ellie, and once I actually got to see it in the game, I was less concerned about Bella Ramsey. To be fair, I liked her in Game of Thrones. Her as Lyanna Mormont was amazing, and I always cite as far as like proof of her acting chops is the fact that like Kit Harington praised her acting on several occasions, to the point where he said I believe he felt intimidated by her when they were doing lines together because she could just rattle the shit off. Like she just like she was the complete package.
So you get why they gave her the job.
Yeah, so I get why. Like I'm of two minds of it. Like I think she's doing a phenomenal job. I think visually they picked a very physically striking individual to evoke a certain emotion, because she definitely does act a certain way, and it's very easy to see someone like that in a certain light. So I get that. But everything I've seen so far points to its good characterization. Like I mentioned earlier, my questioning now that I've seen bits of the game is questioning why they put Pedro Pascal as Joel, because I don't now that I know the source material, I don't believe him. At least in the more like harder moments, in the soccer moments, I completely believe. Like he's a very good actor. He does a great job in the role. In those moments.
Who was that guy I mentioned? Sorry to interrupt.
You mentioned his body double, Javier Bardem.
Oh yeah, he would have been a good,
because him and Jeffrey Dean Morgan look just alike.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
No, you're good. But yeah, I would have liked someone who fit more the rugged bill. I think it was the fact that Pedro Pascal is just a known name at this point.
Right.
And like everybody wants him in everything. And to the fact that he definitely does. I'm just gonna go out and come out and say it. He definitely lends a certain softness to the character.
In the
show.
Parental moments, he nails that shit.
Yeah, he is the dad, and I think that's what they were going for.
I agree 100% with that's what they were going for, because they couldn't spend a lot of time on the savage him. They needed to focus on those dad moments and make you love him as a father figure to Ellie.
Exactly, like less savage moments than there are the heartfelt moments, which is like you said why they cast him. You know.
Would I've liked to see more of the Joel I see in the game? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But I can understand while not necessarily liking it. I can understand why they did it and enjoy the fact that he does a phenomenal role. It does make it obvious though why they don't why I've heard so much bad about the newest season. Because it's jarring to lose him. I was saying before we started recording, if I had played the game and then went directly to the next one, I understand wholeheartedly why people were upset. because it was very like sudden out of nowhere.
Mhm.
What
like-
just for you guys out there, what one is referencing is Joel's death in game, because we expect the people who are watching the show for season 2 talk to know what happens to Joel. You know what happens to Joel. That game's been around. Rico
Yeah.
said it earlier. That game's been around fucking 20 years.
And then I remastered that bitch twice.
It's been remastered twice. So you got, everyone knows what happens to Joel.
Yeah.
You know.
But yeah, like I said, that being said, from what I've seen of season 1, it's phenomenal. I'm glad I gave it a second try, to be honest with you. Because it's a good story.
What you say, Rico?
Did you write it off initially, Wonder?
I just did not care for it.
Gotcha.
And it felt, I don't know what it is, but like all I can call it is pattern recognition. It's obvious when people change things. I rarely do I know why. I can guess, but rarely do I know why. I just know that they change things. I got to go research it to figure out why it felt weird. And
I think it kind of,
now that I've seen the game, I get what's going on.
Right. I think it's one of those situations like you probably heard so much discourse about this game, the show, you're just not interested. It'd be like, I don't want to hear because people have been bitching about it the entire time. Like, why would I want to go check it out then? That's
honestly, it wasn't so much that, it was the fact like The Last of Us wasn't my jam. I don't particularly care about, like, it would have been it's more my jam than The Walking Dead, just because I don't care about the evils of man. I've seen what people can do.
How far you get into that? I'm just curious. I only got into you first.
I didn't get very far at all. I got a couple episodes in. I was familiar with the graphic novel, and I was nah. Yeah, I was good because I was aware of the premise, and I just did not care for the evils of men. I'm here to see zombies.
I hear the new top tier. They get straight to the zombies but it's weird storylines.
Like 4 stories. There's like 4 shows going on right now.
Okay. So Daryl Dixon got his own show. People say that's really good. It's got a second season.
Now that I might actually watch because I fuck with Daryl.
Dead City. That's when, and I don't know the storyline what happened with Negan because I didn't finish the show. But Negan and Sarah.
No, I know. But I finished the whole. I don't know the new shows, but I finished the OG one, so I could, I guess, give you a TLDR on it real quick.
Yeah.
So, how much of the show did you watch?
I watched up until Sasha, but I do know what happens.
So you know what happened with Negan, right? So his big thing is he kills.
Yeah, I don't too much.
Okay, so he kills 2 people that have been in the show for a while. One of them, spoiler alerts,
wasn't Glenn?
Yes.
Okay.
So, which is not, it's in the comics. Negan kills Glenn. So but prior to that, him and Maggie, who is I forgot her name. I forget the actress's name, but they were a couple. They had a kid and everything. Towards the end of the OG Walking Dead show, and this is also in the comics, Rick and his team, they defeat Negan, but they don't kill him. They keep him as a prisoner. And
that's bad.
Right. And they're trying to break the cycle of just straight up killing, which I get that, but they should have killed that motherfucker at least. But because he put them through hell. So another group comes in and they end up needing Negan's help to defeat this other group. So he's kind of on his, you find out backstories about Negan, and everybody's got, a backstory, especially in that fucking world. Everybody's got a shitty backstory. But they form a, enemy my enemy is my friend type shit. And he ends up working with them, but Maggie has left the group because they didn't kill him. She was like, I can't be here with him if y'all don't kill him. So she leaves the show for a while, and I think she was filming other stuff, and I think she had a baby as well in real life. But she comes back to the show towards the end, and like everything, like all hell's going loose, and she ends up helping the crew but Negan's also with them, and she ends up forming an alliance with Negan as well. And it's kind of like, I need your help to get out of this situation. And towards the end, they're like her and Negan are like the only two left out of the end of their group in that show. So they get kidnapped. I forget. I think that's what happened. They get kidnapped and taken to, I think it's New York. And that's why I didn't watch any of that new show, but it's essentially Maggie with Negan, who's killed, her fucking husband / father, her child. And they have like this alliance, that, I need your help. You're right. They're pretty much trying to escape New York. At least I assume that's what that show's about. But in the regular Walking Dead show, she doesn't straight up try to kill him, but she doesn't help him in a situation that he could have gotten killed. He gets out of it, but she does help. She does leave his ass to die. But so it's kind of an uneasy alliance with her. Like towards the end of Walking Dead, all your main characters, I think Daryl gets kidnapped. He's in France, that's where that show's taking place. And I think Daryl, that's where his show takes place. And I think so. They originally was supposed to do a Daryl and Carol show because they kind of played them being on again, off again, or type thing. Michonne and Rick, they had their show that was kind of a mini series because they think he dies, but he gets taken off or whatever. So the original show is done. They just have all these spinoffs, which I don't think have anything to do with the comic book at this point. But yeah, that's the whole thing on that. So.
Got
you.
Yeah. I'm. I was surprised to hear.
That's a lot.
I was surprised to hear. What's like Saint's pessimism about the second season
of Walking Dead,
or no of The Last of Us.
Oh, okay.
Like I don't know anything about it. So.
I take it from.
How many have you watched?
I haven't watched it. It's 5 episodes out.
Uh-huh.
I watched part of a scene, but it was enough of that scene for me to recognize it from the game. It was a very famous scene, and it's very important in The Last of Us 2 because if you've already seen Last of Us 2 or you already know the game because it's been out for 20-some years or 10 years, Ellie goes on a revenge kick and she's tracking down all these people. And what she does is she literally hunts these people down by one by one until she finds Abby. And one of the best parts of the game, one of the coolest parts of the game, is a chase scene you have with one of the characters, Nora, and it's a while. You have to fight your way through WLF soldiers, then fight your way through things, and then go down into the depths. The hospital is blocked off. You have to deal with infected throughout your entire way there as well. And then the sin ends. It's not an easy stretch of the game. And so to walk past and almost miss that scene because it was so fast, and the only dialogue I hear between the start of the run and the end is shoot that bitch. I'm like, come on. And then I was telling them the damn WLF soldiers who fucking pinging my ass in the chest they got anytime I poke my head out, they shooting a silhouette of her after image. So
another Dragon Ball Z reference.
While I'm still going to watch that blank of a scene in the 5th episode, it was like, what else? What else did you shorten? What else got left out? And he loving it.
He's been saying this whole time.
He was waiting for it.
Yeah.
Because I posted this years ago on Facebook, but back when all this stuff was hitting like the mainstream and whatnot. And it was leaving the comic books and going onto the silver screen. I was like, just wait till they get to your fandom. You'll understand how I feel. I want them to start putting like scenes from like John Cena's The Marine into like Nicholas Sparks movies and shit. I want to see like Fast and the Furious level car scenes in A Walk to Remember. I want to see a cigarette boat chase scene like a la like 80s like style on The Notebook.
In my defense, it's not so much that they finally got to my fandom. They got to something that I recognize that they're doing something wrong, and I think
that ultimately is the disparity between a lot of people, and that's another cause for the fatigue we were talking about. It's the fact that like some people like get into the stuff and live there, and some people don't, and it's just varying degrees.
Now, here's my devil's advocate because I like doing it. In his defense, people who worked on the games are working on the show. Am I wrong in that?
I'm not quite sure on that.
Druckmann has something to do with the show, as far as I'm concerned. Now, I know what you're saying, Wonder, is people who don't, give a fuck about the source material changing it for no reason. In this case, one of the dudes who worked on it, is it cut for time? Even though I feel like Saint said that it's a pivotal.
That I don't know. I've heard conflicting sources about the whole Druckmann thing. Anyway, I've heard that that he's a prolific writer, and I've also heard that he's very petty.
I've seen that because I think when the Backlash is 2, he like made some video like pretty much saying, dogging the fans and all that. So I can see him being petty. I can see him being petty.
I remember hearing early on before the show was even out that something I recently heard again was the fact that Neil Druckmann didn't appreciate the fact that people liked Joel, like they felt he was a hero or whatever.
It goes by what we say. It's because you cast Pedro Pascal. Yeah. He's a likable dude.
Well, no. I'm talking about specifically in the game.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha. Yeah, people like Joel in the game, and like apparently between 1 and 2, he didn't like that. I'm not really.
The same people are writing it,
so I don't know.
Same people are writing it.
That wrote the game.
Yeah.
Right, sure. So this
month. So what happens when that? So what do we do when that happens? Wonder, you've been here before. What do we do?
That's a cut for time. Then that's what that is.
Yeah, that's got to be.
But I feel that chase specifically is pivotal because I think that crosses into I'm gonna do whatever I need to fucking do. To people. That is a pivotal part because they make you in the game. The scene, like even the scene is lit red because that's rage taking over her, and they make you hit triangle to torture this damn girl to get the information. That is a pivotal part of the game. Does this scene show the end of that part, or does it just show?
It is a cut for time, or are they trying to?
It showed the chase. So, from what I saw, it was from the initial threw something in Ellie's face, started running.
Mm-hmm.
Got down to the elevator and then up against the wall.
Oh, okay. So
I'm not sure. I did walk away. So I'm not sure if what happens after that part. If they do what I think, all I know is that scene was very short. But if they do what I think at the end, it adds something back.
Right. Okay. So the chase isn't as important as the end of that chase and what she does to Nora.
Okay, so that is a cut for time.
Right. So the chase is probably a cut for time. Now,
so this is not a Walker situation then.
Walker, the show?
Yeah. No, the reboot Walker with Jared Padalecki in it.
Yeah. What's wrong with that? I didn't watch it. I don't.
Oh yeah, it's nothing like Walker.
I watched the old school Walker with Chuck Norris.
Yeah, it's nothing like the Chuck Norris Walker.
Also, he ain't karate chopping people with a black.
Nah, they bait and switch it. They bait and switch people.
Oh, okay.
That's good to know though.
Wait. They switched Walkers from Jared?
No. They bait and switch the Walker. Bait and switch the show because they gave you Walker, but it's not the Walker that we know. Like it's not. He's not out here like karate chopping and roundhouse kicking people.
He's solving crimes in his neighborhood.
Rico.
You don't go outside his neighborhood. Hey, there's a crime in Florida. Ooh, I don't go out there.
Yeah, no.
Texas
I'm a Texas Ranger. Yeah,
ain't no Florida Ranger.
you better call them sheriffs. So
But-
listen to this.
Mhm.
Part 2 is expected to span multiple seasons. Mazin, who is Craig Mazin, one of the writers and creators. Mazin confirms plans for a significantly larger third season. If the second is successful, and suspected that the story may require a fourth.
So they said they weren't going to go past the games. So that means they're going to stretch. 2 is a long ass game, and there is a lot.
Once again, I don't know because I didn't play the game, but I'm just saying it's crazy that they rushed the first season and then they're going to draw out the rest.
Yeah, because I feel 2 is lower than 1, but it can't be by much, So they were able to hit all the good beats in 1 and add some stuff, and I feel like they told a coherent story, at least as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, because they fit Ellie's backstory in,
and they even added the fucking Nick Offerman's episode. They didn't even need to do that, but they did.
Entire episode too. So much. Granted,
it was good,
beautifully done. But granted, I sketch you probably got to this part in the game. That whole part with Bill, that's a blip. Actually, fucking around chilling with Bill is a blip. Once you get through that school and you get his truck, you're on your way.
Exactly.
So
they tied that up very nicely with a very nice bow.
You know what I love about the first season? We haven't even gone through every episode, but I think there's clickers in what, 2 episodes, maybe 3.
Well, you don't like the fact that they oversaturate.
Yeah, the first one was in a museum. Yep.
And then you see him in the neighborhood with the sniper scene.
Yep.
And I can't think of anywhere else, but I didn't even pay attention to that. That's not what it was about. It's not, it was still beautifully done without the clickers.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's when they were there, they were fucking frightening, but you don't see them all the time. And there's enough for the characters to breathe. And unfortunately, you got regular ass humans to deal with. But the clickers, and even in the game, you deal with probably more people than you do clickers.
Yeah.
You deal with you deal with more people.
So I understand why they did the first season the way that they did it. And again, I do believe the first season was beautifully done and it got to where we needed to get. And I do think one of you are going to enjoy it. So the stuff that I am, because I'm not hearing a whole lot of great things. I'm seeing a lot of memes. I'm not saying not saying a whole lot of great things, but at the same time, to know that they have these plans and this faith already, like 2 things. One, what did you do, or so we're 5 episodes in, it says 7 episodes. So they got two episodes left for this season. Damn, these seasons be going by fast as fuck, man.
Yeah, they do, but they're only 8 episodes.
To be fair, that's not a standard model either, because like it used to be 12 and 24 and shit like that.
What's going on with that? But it's crazy.
Yeah,
but for the shit to come back.
So 5 episodes in, I'm gonna ask to see the consensus of the 5 episodes. But 5 episodes in, 2 left. You got to do something absolutely cliffhanging. But at the same time, do they start Abby's shit and then leave us hanging? Because we ain't seen how Abby really.
And
I have heard some discourse about Abby. Everything I've heard talks about her appearance and the fact that she's a regular chick.
She's not buff as shit.
She's not brolic.
Yeah.
Like
the only way that girl they cast was it going to look like that is if they pumped her full of steroids for the last year.
With how petty I've heard Neil Druckmann can be, and with how much backlash I've heard from like people talking of like jumping down on the chuds and shit who were like bombing the fucking show. I thought they were gonna whole ass like make or cast a trans character or a trans person for the character.
Right.
Like I whole ass thought they were gonna do that. It would make sense for this if in the one like instance of this, like You don't have to like you have the people on hand. Like I don't see.
People said they should
I
have
don't see why
kept
you wouldn't.
Ronda Rousey because that's what she looked like in the game with them buff ass arms. No, I tell you, man, she is better. She is better than any gun. She just makers people.
I've heard Abby got paws.
And Abby,
dude. The first time I played with her, and it was literally like press square to punch, and I saw that 3-piece. I was like, "What the fuck?"
Abby, what's crazy is Abby gets the better weapons. She gets a crossbow, a hunting rifle.
What the fuck?
A machine gun, and some other stuff. And you don't need any of that shit. All you need is her fucking fist. When you play Ellie, Ellie gets a regular ass bow and arrow, a slow ass bolt action rifle, and then she got this little
revolver too. Like what the fuck? She carrying this shit around.
Abby gets the best shit, but you don't even need it because she if you catch a clicker or a person off guard, you can one piece them and they're done. And
God damn,
yeah, man,
is a beast.
Like her being bigger and stronger is a story plot point.
Right, it is.
She went from what the girl they cast looks like to years. Well, so it's been 3-4 years in the timeline. She spent 4 years getting buff, stalking Joel.
Yep.
Every chance she got, looking for information. The entire time she's getting buff. She's running missions against scars in order to fucking and hone her skills and shit like that. She becomes buff as fuck. So so the casting choice again for me. It's more of a y'all cast the cast instead of casting the character.
Unless they're gonna give her that. Well, no, she already.
Yeah, she already kills Joel. So
I was about to say,
exactly. I like I said, I don't know. I'm not invested. I'm just watching. But
so actually, you can break that show up into 3 seasons. That game up in 3 seasons.
That's what I'm saying. It seems rushed. Like I said, before I even got to watch the game, gameplay, something seemed off about everything to me. Like it seemed like rushed.
Yeah, because you can break Ellie tracking down Abby because they meet 2 or 3 times. I think 3 in the second game. So you can break 1 season up of obviously Joel getting killed and Ellie going on the initial quest, and then there is a turn point. It's mostly with Dina, and because that's the second time they meet, and I'm not gonna. Yeah, that's the second time they meet.
And then it's supposed to be just a little bit of downtime.
Right.
And then something sparks that third time.
Right. When that second time, you can go back to Abby because she has her own shit too. Because you bring in the Seraphite or the scars.
That's what I'm interested in too, because I specifically asked, hey, what's going on with Abby? And 5 episodes in, nothing with Abby yet.
I'm looking through the cast, and 2 of the main scars, Seraphites, whatever you want to call them, I don't even see them in the cast. So they're saving that for season 2 then of this game.
So you didn't see their names?
Not the 2 main ones.
Okay. Damn. So let's go ahead and give that up then.
Yeah.
My thoughts on the structure of this, what would have been better? Season 1, 12 episodes.
Yeah, I agree. Because 8 ain't for a game like this.
Season 2, 8 episodes.
And then
you turn it into an anthology.
And then what? You expand
and then and then the third season you give 24 episodes.
You ain't getting 24 no more.
Yeah.
Nah, not today. Not today. Hell no.
24 in this world.
Nah.
And that's you know what? I do appreciate Pedro Pascal, but it is beneficial that they killed him because he's too goddamn busy. You might get a flashback with him, but he got too much other shit going on. So this is it's good to get him out of there, so they can.
Honestly, that might be why they did it too.
Yeah, exactly. That's probably why this second season took so long, because he was filming, I want to say, Mandalorian. He probably wouldn't have been doing. Yeah, he probably was starting Fantastic Four. He was in something else. can't think of what he was in, but yeah, he in between that first season and this, he got busy.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's probably the reason why it took so damn long. Yeah. So he was filming. Yeah, I forgot he did Book of Boba Fett, Bubble, Mandalorian, some other shit I ain't never heard of. He was in Wild Robot. Oh yeah, he was in Gladiator 2. So he's probably filming Gladiator 2 and fucking Fantastic Four. Yeah, he was busy. But yeah, we ain't even gone through season 1 yet. So y'all want to go through that?
What, season 2?
Season 1.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
We didn't even go. I don't even remember the episodes that well. Do you have the episode list, Saint? I do. Ooh, Saint.
I think he's working on it.
Oh. Let's see if I can pull it up. Hold on. Season 1. Let's see. Okay, so yeah, season 1, episode 1 and 2 are them trying to get out of that city, which I will say that city, when they were stuck in that gas station, or I think it was a gas station.
Oh yeah.
And they had to shoot their way out. That was a good scene too.
That's pretty cool. I have heard something about either the end of season 1 or the part of season 2. I'm waiting to see it. I hear there's like a huge battle or something like that.
In the game or the show?
In the show. Or I might have already seen it. No, it wasn't the Kansas City thing. I've heard that there's another big guy, another what do they call them? Bloaters?
Oh, the bloaters. Yeah, that's probably in the later episodes in the neighborhood, I think.
Okay, I do remember. We just watched the episode where the first one shows up in Kansas City.
Is that the one in the neighborhood in the sniper?
Yeah, in the sniper. Yeah.
Okay. Does that happen again in the show?
I think it was in season 2.
Oh, okay. Well, in the game, there's a couple of bloaters, but I haven't seen season 2 yet, so it might happen in the show again. Yeah. So let's see.
Yeah, that was just the one in that show that we just saw. Sorry, yeah, I had to step away for a second.
Oh, okay.
But no, yeah, the one we just saw was the one from the sniper scene. So yeah, that's only like I want to say closer to the. Oh man, we actually about to come up on a. Rico, I know you remember this episode. This is the episode. This is like the episode where Ellie has her like a mini arc.
Oh yeah, by herself. You talking about by herself when she's by herself and Joel's kind of down for the count?
Yep.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. That's a rough part in the game too. So I think that's the beginning of her becoming as savage as Joel is, because of what she goes through. But yeah, that's a rough part in the game too. Yeah. Let's see. Going through all these. Let's see.
Let's see. I think when we watch the episode, that's gonna be again, that's also was one of the pivotal episodes for me to let me know that okay, they did their absolute best that they could to put what they could important in this first season, because the second season they're gonna give us everything.
Yeah.
And when I played through that game, and the longer I played that game, and I'm like, man, I'm talking about when I'm hitting 26 hours and I'm still got a lot to compete. Rigo was coming in the chat. Yeah, you still got a little bit. You still on day 2. So, and we finally get to the end of the game, because what I'm trying to figure out how they're gonna do it, because people these days can't handle stuff, and people already ranting and rape people who ain't never played the game. Saw what happened to Joel. They doing the same fucking shit that the people who played the game when it came out 10 years ago, when they found out what happened to Joel, they rioted too. And so what's really gonna fucking make me feel like these motherfuckers know what they're fucking doing. And then now that I know that it's the same writers from the game, and so I know they know what they're fucking doing, and I'm gonna shut the fuck up a little bit on how they handle things. But there's a moment in the game where they fucking hand you the controls and you're playing as the person who just beat fucking Joel's brains in.
Oh yeah.
And you have to keep them alive. And yeah, I jumped down some wells and some water into some waterways on purpose sometimes.
Really intentionally bite your nose.
I may have not hit that last swing and let them jump. Yeah, right. To let them jump, and I enjoy it. Dying with her a little bit more than I should. But they force you to play with her, and they force you to identify and sympathize with her. By the end of the game, I don't know what I'm sitting there, and the part I'm talking about. I'm sitting like, well, I don't know who I want to win.
Oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, because that is a pivotal moment, and you're like,
so they got a lot to do. And he's talking about 4 seasons. You got time to slow it down, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, that's my biggest thing. Like I don't want people who have played this game to miss out on the shit because they're rushing.
Yeah.
It's like, I know, like we know how they can make time for this stuff. We know it's just a matter of writing.
Mm-hmm.
So just like you said, slow it down. I'm so happy. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm happy for y'all though, because the Lord of the Rings community fucking suffering, bro.
Oh, because of the
y'all don't got any projects coming?
No, they got the Rings of Power in the
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
I think I watched one episode.
Look, even when even Saints like, hey, HL, like you stepped over a line.
I was like, yeah, I don't even play around that. We may go at it, but I ain't playing around with Lord of the Rings.
Casual Lord of the Rings, like I enjoy the movies.
They got a second season. Yeah,
I am a huge fan of Lord of the Rings. I am like, I read all. When I say I read all the books, I mean that. Unfinished Tales, Sir Gawain the Green Knight. Like
they're making a show, but I don't know another show, but I don't know. Oh wait, maybe I'm thinking
a Gollum. Yeah, there's a Gollum project coming.
Movie. Yeah, it's like a movie, and it's supposed to be.
The Hunt for Gollum has been delayed to December 17, 2027. Yeah, y'all heard.
Yeah, they knew what the
y'all
fuck
ain't getting nothing.
So where does it take place in the overall thing? I mean,
the only place it can take place, like we actually was talking about this when we talked about Shadows of Mordor. The only time it can take place, the hunt for Gollum, is when he gets set, either when he goes to Mordor by himself or he gets set free.
Oh, and that's what that shitty game is supposed to fill in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What is it?
It's
that
I didn't even get any time.
Right, immediately.
Anytime Gollum comes up in like game media, you know it's going to be some horseshit, because he is one of the few characters that play like he's only there for the story. Like everything with like of him is there in the story for you. Like it's not like some of the elves or whatever where they're like half defined because they're so old that they're in like multiple stories. No, like this, he was in the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit. That's pretty much it.
Gotcha.
Like there's not a whole lot to be gleaned from his character, and any attempt to do that is just you making fan fiction at that point, which like we've talked about, not bad. But when you talk about a character like him who was like so set into the stone of the lore, it becomes weird. Also, I'm just gonna go ahead and lay it on the table. The reason that show is so bad is because they don't have the rights to tell the story.
What do you mean?
They don't have the fucking rights to the shit. That's why they keep alluding to the hobbits and shit like that. That's what literally everybody's saying. That's what we've been saying originally. Why are you trying to make this? You cannot make this because you do not. They have the right to the appendices.
Oh, so all the shit outside of your main.
Exactly. So that's how we have the weird that first scene with Galadriel's like, do you know why a boat floats and a stone sinks?
No,
like that, all that fake deep shit and whatnot. That's why Galadriel's a fucking weird ass like girl boss who sneers at everybody instead of
It's supposed
like
to be how Sauron became the Sauron we know. Is that what it's supposed to be?
no, because Sauron has already fallen.
Oh, okay.
Sauron fell ages ago.
I thought he was like an elf at first, right?
No.
Oh.
He was he has always been a god, but his form called Anatar, the Lord of Gifts, is slightly elvish because all the Valar and the Maya, whatever, they can turn into like humanoid figures, and they usually look elvish because they're around the elves all the time in Valinor anyway. But yeah, they don't have the rights to this shit.
Jesus.
So like, yeah,
it was like we can't let this Lord of the Rings hype die down. We got to put something out there.
Exactly.
So exactly why they're doing the Harry Potter show. Nobody wants them to make.
that's a totally different thing because they got J.K. Rowling on that.
Yeah,
they just don't like her ass.
True. Yeah, it's mostly her.
Which they don't like that snake thing either.
Yeah, that is. I gotta say that is stupid. That is so dumb. There is not an argument in the world you can tell me where it's like, oh, it's the best character for the role. Y'all knew what y'all were doing.
Oh, why would they redo the original shit over and not just continue it?
I agree. Yeah. Why not? Why can't Harry Potter come back as a fucking teacher or some shit, and it's a Harry Potter Saved by the Bell?
Yeah, actually adapt Harry Potter
the new class.
How about we adapt Harry Potter and the Cursed Child into a proper property?
That's what I'm talking about.
Instead of a Broadway show, like or whatever.
What's the Cursed Child about?
I have no clue because actually I do know. It's about I want to say it's about Bellatrix's child or something like that. Somebody had a child with Tom Riddle. I want to say. I briefly read because I was like, this is weird. Y'all stop.
Why are y'all making the fucking original shit over again? I guess if you want to fill in the books or whatever, but I think those did a pretty good job. There was fucking 8 of them, 9 of them, whatever.
There was. I can understand a bit why, but at the same time, the movies weren't the problem. It was the books. The books felt a bit rushed, especially after Goblet of Fire, because they were rushed. That being said,
popular and people wanted them to come out and all that.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
So, that being said, they were still good.
Yeah, and I watched them because I watched them sporadically over the years, but I actually sat down and watched them probably a year or 2 ago. I'm like, the first one, it is what it is. They're kid actors, whatever.
Yeah.
But those movies get fucking really good. And it's like, this is crazy. This is a kid's property. They go killing people and all this stuff.
Yeah, you can actually tell by each of the Harry Potter intros because they get darker and darker.
Yeah, exactly. They get darker and darker. They're not so whimsical and shit.
Yeah. Well, it's not the fact that they're not whimsical. They keep that whimsy. It's just not. You don't get the glitz behind it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I wish they would have leaned more into that. The fact that like all right, I'm gonna be that guy and make a Warhammer analogy. Orcs inside of Warhammer.
You know what, man? It's been like 3.5 hours. It's your first Warhammer reference, so it's crazy, actually.
Yeah. Wow, I'm allowed to do this right now. Okay, cool.
I don't know. I didn't know you were fighting it for one. Yeah, no one told you to do that.
60 days since the last Warhammer reference.
I remember them. I just happened to, and I was like, I have not heard a Warhammer fact today. That's how I know.
Yeah. So orcs inside of Warhammer. If anybody who's not inside of knows about the property Warhammer, at least knows the orcs because they all talk in a Cockney accent and they talk about boys and gits and all that stuff. It's fucking hilarious, right? And they're goofy. Even in the first Space Marine game, they're goofy as hell to fight because they're just funny. The problem is it's from the perspective of a Space Marine who fights these things on the regular and can just cut through swaths of them. For the average guardsman, they're terrifying because they just rip apart people for fun. Like they enslave people. They can do any of their own work. They're as tall as, well, not as tall because they're actually shorter than Space Marines, but they're as wide as Space Marines and just as strong as Space Marines in that fucking ceramite. but they're all like battle crazed and shit like that. And they do weird shit like you can cut off at one orc's head and stick it to another orc, and that bitch not only live but get stronger.
Oh.
They also work off the power. I'm gonna simplify here, but the power of fucking belief. They believe that red makes things go faster. If they paint a spaceship red, that bitch will hit light speed. They make their technology out of scraps because they have this weird genetic fucking knowledge from like eons ago when the fucking stars were young. So they can just cobble up tinfoil and fucking clothespins and make a blaster that will just disintegrate your skeleton. That's not a joke. And it's that kind of like whimsy, but also it's terrifying. I wish they would have leaned more into that with Harry Potter, because there are some things that are like absolutely mundane and wacky that you think about, but you like without the whimsy of like, oh, I'm a child, it gets really scary. Like the staircase in Hogwarts, that bitch moves.
Oh yeah.
And randomly, like it can move periodically, but it also moves randomly.
It was in the real world. That bitch would be shut down.
How many kids have died? Because also remember, also remember that the staircase doesn't just move physically; it moves locations.
Mm-hmm.
There are whole ass rooms, not including the room of come and go and shit like that. But there are whole ass rooms that just nobody has seen for ages, nobody has been to for ages, and shit just migrates. How many fucking bodies are in Hogwarts?
You know what it reminds me of? You haven't played it yet, Saint, but you have one. It's the old house in Control.
Oh, bro, yes, exactly,
so
exactly.
In Control, pretty much physics. What we know as physics don't exist in this place. So you'll be in a room, and if you read some of the notifications, think of an office building, but that bitch, you'll be just sitting in your room. All of a sudden, the walls just close in on you, and you're dead because you were in that spot where that wall happened to close in. So there's sections of that building that just
that it almost breeds. It reconstructs itself like a fucking MC Escher painting because it superimposes itself to try and reestablish itself in reality.
Mm-hmm.
It's like always trying to tether itself.
Yeah,
and I don't think they're using quantum technology, so that shit is scary.
They would shut down Hogwarts immediately.
Oh, in a minute.
You give a bunch of kids guns and you put them inside of a building that's essentially an engine that's moving all the fucking time, and just go to school and wonder why my isn't back home for summer break because they're dead.
Also, these kids with guns have clear prejudicial bias against a group of people coming into these kids that have these guns also have way more knowledge of the bullets that they can shoot than these kids coming in that these pureblood kids are oppressing and shit like that. There's a whole, I could write papers on Harry Potter and why that world doesn't fucking work.
Your seniors know how to shoot.
So what you say, Harry Potter episodes? Got it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I'll be a passenger on that one because
it's Dumbledore's.
We're gonna be movie watchers. He can be the books and the
right. Exactly. I know the movies and the I like the first Fantastic Beasts. I didn't like the rest of them, but the first Fantastic Beasts was good.
I feel the same way. I actually like Newt Scamander.
Yeah, I thought he was going to be annoying, but he was not. He was essentially a Pokemon trainer.
Yeah, exactly. And I love that they played him that way.
Yeah, and I thought he was going to be mostly because it's Eddie Redmayne. He's really out there with his acting. Sometimes. Yeah, he'll be quiet and yelling, and then I liked what's his name is Dumbledore, as young Dumbledore, whatever.
Oh, talking about Ewan McGregor?
Yeah, no, it was
or Jude Law.
Yeah, Jude Law. Yep, I liked him. And I heard this I'm stealing this from another podcast, but they said another reason why I like this world is because you have experienced wizards that know magic. The best part in them Harry Potter movies is when Dumbledore fights Voldemort in that hallway.
Bro,
some of the best shit I've seen. Like two legit magicians just going at it.
I wanted to see and this is just me as a fan.
Mhm.
I wanted to see what made the Death Eater so scary.
Right.
Because they talk about in the books and whatnot, like these are not just like regular dudes. Because like they talk about like obviously Lucius Malfoy, right?
Is that's the right?
Yeah, that's Draco's dad. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
They talk about him. He's like a high ranking, but it's because he's fucking rich.
Mhm.
But you have people like the Lestrange brothers,
Mhm.
Rudolphus and Rabastin, who are known to be very good duelers. You have in the background in the book. I don't think they mention him in the movie, but in the books, you have Evan Rosier, who took fucking Mad Eye Moody's nose.
You and these names, man. You rattle.
You have fucking Antonin Dolohov, who as far as we know, just jumped the fucking pond. He sounds European. He sounds like he goes to fucking Durmstrang.
The hell
But
is that?
that's the school that Victor Crumb is from.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it sounds like he's from that way over there. But he's the one that puts the curse on Hermione, almost kills her in the fucking Department of Ministries.
Mhm.
Like, I want to know what makes these motherfuckers scary.
Yeah, because they don't really show what makes them scary in the movie.
No, they are fucking it's
the kids kind of hang. I mean, they kind of hang with them for a bit.
Yeah, and that's definitely a bit of plot armor.
I think if I ran in there with a gun, I'd be equally matched with just a gun.
Yeah.
No
absolutely. Until somebody pulls up Protego, then you might be a little hosed. And physical shields are hell.
Is that protect?
Yeah, that's the shield spell.
Okay, well then a gun and a grenade.
Yeah, but I mean, you gonna crack at least 7 of them.
Yeah, exactly.
They just don't fucking know.
Right. It's like, what is that? Because from what I understand, these movies take place in the 90s or so. Is that the book? Yeah, it's like the 90s or so. So if I came in there with a flashbang and a regular pistol, I'd be equally matched.
Yeah, but you also got to remember, you got to get that shit in Britain. This ain't America.
I'll bring it.
Now, if I was about to say, if I'm an exchange student, I'm bringing that thing on me. You feel me?
Right.
Like that was coming regardless, bro. Before Malfoy even talked about fucking mudbloods and shit. A mud who now?
Yeah, that sounds like an N-word to me. So I'm gonna shoot you.
I feel like Wingardium Leviosa squeeze.
I'm gonna stop by the Birmingham Castle, get me a shield out of there.
Exactly.
And you guys heard of the Empyrean series?
Empyrean? Like
Empyrean.
EMPYREAN?
Yes.
What is this?
No.
It's apparently it's a new fantasy book. It's not a new fantasy book. It's a fantasy book series that's been around for a while. Apparently, super popular. It got picked up by actor Michael B. Jordan's production company. So
okay.
It's basically about a world where dragon riders are chosen by the dragons, and so these when you turn 20, basically.
Is that different than Aragon?
It sounds like Aragon mixed with like Dragon Booster or some shit.
Oh, I'm looking at the game. Any good in 2025?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I didn't really mess with the Aragon series, but that's down to me being a nerd though. I hold this weird reverence for like dragons and shit.
Oh yeah, I do. Yeah, I kind of like the first movie, but it was not great.
Yeah. Like dragons are not your brother. You are crunchy and taste good with ketchup.
It's gonna be the next.
Oh, so I didn't heard. See, this is another thing. What I mentioned earlier, we hear about all these things get announced.
I'm scared.
Announced, and they either get like I think Star Wars had some kind of thing in Japan, whatever their equivalent of Comic-Con is.
Oh, that shit.
Now all this shit. Like there's a movie with Ryan Gosling. Who knows if it's gonna come out? There's supposed to be a
Rey movie.
Yeah, a Rey trilogy. Rey trilogy. I'm like,
hey, to be fair, Disney swims in delusion because I don't know if you heard if you were on when we talked about that, but the Acolyte was getting a comic book series, a movie deal.
Oh, like a video game and all.
Yeah, they had crazy faith. Yeah, they had crazy faith in this.
Is this how when like after the Super Bowl, like they send the losers team, the jerseys over to a foreign country, some shit. Like there's a landfill full of alkalite fucking.
Yeah. What's crazy is they some people on YouTube while the Acolyte was going on mentioned the fact that the lightsabers they use in the fucking show are modeled after the toy lightsabers you can get at Universal.
I do want to do that.
And it's straight up to sell toys.
I want to go to that thing. That's
I'm
one.
like,
it's like $400, but I still want to go.
Oh hell nah.
Will you build your own lightsaber? I want to go to that.
Okay, that I do want to, but like I don't want one of those like lame ass chunky.
Oh no, I don't. Yeah, I don't want the little cheap ones. I'm talking about the one where you know they put you in a little room and you build your own lightsaber.
Yeah, I would like to do that shit. That would be cool. I'd pay for that.
Now, I know nobody watched it, but Zack Snyder's movie Rebel Moon on Netflix that had the same treatment. It was supposed to be a comic, video games,
okay,
universe, and that bitch flopped. I watched that first one.
My bad, y'all.
What?
Second Warhammer reference.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
That movie was a fucking ripoff.
Oh, of course.
Somebody watched Star Wars and some Warhammer and went to fucking town.
Yes.
Oh
they
my
said
God.
That movie had every sci-fi reference for the past 30 years in one movie, which is fine.
Yeah, bro.
Something is a derivative of something else.
Nah.
That blatant. He just said, fuck it.
He ripped shit.
Yeah,
like that was not plunder phonics. That was biting.
And they said if you took out all the slow-mo, it would probably knock an hour off that movie. Like, I tried to watch it, and it's a new universe, so you got to get the lore done. Yeah. But it was so I just didn't care. Like, I watched Dune, and I know nothing about Dune, but their lore
was easier to consume.
Exactly. In the first one, it was easier to consume. I get the gist, and it's still an interesting thing. Like, I feel sorry for everybody that was in that movie because I like, especially Djimon Hounsou. He has been dealt dirty hands for a while, and he's been acting for a long fucking time. And
the best thing I've seen him in recently is the second Quiet Place movie.
Oh yes, he was a very small part, but he was good in that. Yes, like I said, he's solid in everything he's in. He even says it today. He didn't get paid a fraction of what he should be, and you know. He's got a fucking Oscar nomination.
Yeah, I think him and Henry Cavill should team up.
I can see that. Oh yeah,
I would adore that because he could play some roles in the Warhammer universe. Like that motherfucker would be bad.
Yeah, and so I tried that movie. Like I didn't even watch the second one, and they're talking about video games and comic books and this that. I'm like, man, stop.
Yeah, buddy.
And what sucks is because everybody's like. You know, because all the Zack Snyder fans is like, oh, you should get, you know, he was tied down by DC and they didn't want him to do this. He was completely free to do anything he wanted with this movie, and this is what he turned out.
No, this is not a fucking D&D situation like what happened with Game of Thrones. Because the two dudes who wrote Game of Thrones, they ran basically. When it wasn't that they definitely ran out of the book, but the reason the show tanked as bad as it did was because they threw it in the trash themselves. They got to deal with Disney.
Star Wars, right?
Yeah, they had to deal with Disney, and they were like, "Fine, fuck it, we'll just write this shit out or whatever." And it got panned so bad. It was so fucking bad what they did to the Game of Thrones series that Disney dropped them.
Like, ooh, about that.
Yeah. Imagine for an instant. This is also why I'm so hyper vigilant because I've seen what they did. I've seen what they did to the Star Wars universe. I saw what they did to Game of Thrones. Even though Game of Thrones was wildly popular, the last two seasons weren't the only mistakes in the series. And it's not when the fans really started jumping ship. It was really in season 5.
How many seasons they do?
8. 7.
Or I thought it was 8. Yeah. Let me check and see.
8 sounds.
I know.
Yes, 8 season. Yep, 8 season.
Now 1 episode.
Yeah. But yeah, they fucked that up and ended up fucking themselves.
And what's
And
funny is that's the track record for Star Wars. A lot of people. So the lady who made the first Wonder Woman, I forgot her name, Patty Jenkins.
No, that was Brett.
First
That was
Wonder Woman.
Brett. No, yeah, that was Brett Ratner, wasn't it?
No, that was the lady, Patty Jenkins. She directed it.
I thought she did the second one.
No, she did them both. Brett Ratner might have had something to do with it, but as far as I know, she directed both of those. But the second, she had a.
I'm looking now.
Yeah, same. Yeah, Patty Jenkins. Yeah, she did the second one and she did the first one. Yeah. But
why was he involved in?
I don't know, because I thought he was canceled or some shit.
Yeah, I heard he was kicked off of the Wonder Woman project, which is like, I was like, wait a minute, wasn't he on there?
No, yeah, he got canceled for whatever,
He might have been slated to do the second one and got kicked off because of the shit.
But so yeah, she, after the first Wonder Woman did well, she was slated to do a Star Wars. I think it's like the project that Ryan Gosling is on now, where it was like, think of Top Gun but with a starfighter, and she was slated to do that, but that was before the second Wonder Woman came out and tanked, and her movie quietly got pushed off the slate. And this is why I mentioned earlier, we get too much information, because I'm wondering if she rushed out the second Wonder Woman because I was like, fuck this, I got a Star Wars movie coming. Let me just rush through this second Wonder Woman.
Same thing that I don't think it was a tone of like the news of it. I think she just did that herself. Because like I said, D&D did the same thing.
Mm-hmm. You talking about the D&D movie?
No, D&D, their names are both of their names start with a D. The writers for Game of Thrones.
Oh, you said that earlier.
Yeah, that's what we call them D&D.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got you. And the same with Lord Miller. They had a Star Wars, but they were on the Han Solo movie, and Lord Miller did the Spider-Verse stuff, and something happened. I forgot what it was, but they got kicked off the Han Solo movie, which I think allowed them to do the Spider-Verse movie, which was for the better of that project, because no one even talks about that Han Solo movie. But yeah, they keep announcing all this Star Wars shit that's not gonna come out. I was like, we're not gonna see this Rey movie. Like, she will be Mark Hamill's age by the time that shit come out.
It's easy to see too. Like people talk about like the fans not like shit or whatever, but it's easy to tell when something's gonna go good with Disney because they won't shut up about it. Like they won't stop promoting it and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like the stuff that they know won't do well, they don't promote really.
Right. Yeah. Shit, we ain't had nothing start. Well, I guess I haven't watched the Andor show. I watched the first.
Andor is good, just nobody watches it.
No, I think
that's the general consensus, or it was in the last couple seasons. It was the fact that like it was good and it got ratings on Disney Plus, but the wider like
it's good, because from what I heard, the director, he hates Star Wars, and apparently he did this not caring about the greater Star Wars universe, which is.
But he ended up making one of the best ones because he follows the fucking rules. This is what I love. This is what I love and hate about these directors and shit like that, because they say shit like this, but then it doesn't matter what you like. It matters, are you going to follow the rules of the universe or not? You're
still playing in Disney's playbox, and you got to follow their rules. Like, regardless of what you feel about the show, you still got to follow their rules.
Because a different version of this is Taika Waititi.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was like he said it, like he doesn't care about the shit. He actually likes pissing people off. Like subverting expectations and shit like that. And now you see also a telltale sign of Disney, whenever you know they're getting ready to can somebody, they'll keep delaying their projects.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I.e. Taika Waititi. When Taika Waititi was announced for Star Wars projects, he was at the height. Mm-hmm. But as soon as the fucking numbers came in for Thor Ragnarok and the general like reviews and shit, and not Ragnarok, the back end of Ragnarok and Love and Thunder.
Mm-hmm.
Now all of a sudden his shit is being postponed and he's doing more interviews now, and
that's
what's new on the horizon for Taika Waititi?
nothing.
Exactly.
They do that for so many projects. Star Wars projects. They're notorious for that shit.
I also think too that Disney is responsible for a lot of the nerd unrest, because it's easy to see when Disney does something because they're so blatant about it. And when you see Disney doing something, you automatically go look at these other companies that are doing like different stuff. And you're like, I don't know. It's kind of weird. And then you get all this weird fucking YouTube nonsense. Because I won't lie to you. I still watch Critical Drinker because he has very good takes about a lot of things, and he's like a film buff. But a lot of the people not necessarily associated with him, but like associated with that space, I had to filter out immediately because they were farming for clicks and shit like that. Any kind of discourse they could get their hands on, to the point where it was like, even as much as I hate the Acolyte, y'all are doing too much.
Y'all really don't like Acolyte. I think y'all bring it up every time we talk.
Oh yeah, I hate the fucking Acolyte, and I will never forgive them for that, because that's what killed Star Wars for me. It's literally what killed Star Wars, because it's on top of them fucking shit up and doing backhanded shit like changing core parts of the lore, and then trying to like edit it on the internet to go back and say, oh no, this is what it is, this is what it says, nerds. Like, because the biggest point was the fact that like people who have been loving Star Wars longer than a lot of these directors have been attached to these projects try to come in and say that this and that is, part of the story, and this and that is good for and shit like that, and like try to change like blatant facts about it because they haven't fact checked themselves. And then when the fans get up in a roar about it, they try to go and change it in the background. It's like, this became a whole nother conversation now. At first it was just, nerds on the internet fucking being mad and shit, but like now you're actually doing stuff. But it got weird really fast. Like it stopped being about like legitimate criticism and like down to like when they started attacking the integrity of like the actors and actresses and shit like that.
That's the part, like, I get. These motherfuckers, calm down.
Now granted, what's her name? The fucking Osha, her actress. She got all the hate and she deserved that shit. That fucking stupid ass music video she made.
Oh, I didn't see that part.
Oh, Saint, please.
Yeah.
It's called Discourse. We ain't gotta watch the whole of it because it's fucking cringy.
Is it about the fans?
Yes. Mind you, this is all when the Kendrick and Drake beef was going on. So like everybody was looking for like
diss tracks. You trying to get in on the beef?
Yeah. She's trying to use that like as a vehicle to try and speak out. Mind you, nobody sanctioned this. This was her own doing. And even Disney was like, yeah, this kind of shot us in the foot.
We're gonna go ahead and cancel anything else we had with you.
Yeah.
We'll call you. Is this the whole bit? Oh, okay.
This is weird. When I was a teen, I was running from city to city to speak on the story. You know the one. Always running with a black boy. Yeah, my people cried in the theaters, trying to release it. My people cried they could see us as human beings. Trevor asked what I want the people to know. I said, when people cry, what's the goal? If they could take one thing, what would it be? I said, everything. They splice.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, that shit was embarrassing.
That's in your algorithm now.
It is. I'm gonna cut that from the episode too. I can trim it. I don't even want to be associated with that. It's hard to find that's Rue from Hunger Games acting like that.
Yeah. I think I got another.
Separate the artist from the art.
I guess. That's our only art, so I don't know what.
Ah,
I consume a bunch of rude media, so I don't. Anyways,
that's fucking great.
another random question I thought of: who do you think gets the most praise slash hate when the actor is cast? A Batman role, a Superman role, or a Spider-Man role?
A Batman role for sure.
Really?
Yes.
Hold on.
Because both Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and Tom Holland all had time to breathe.
I was just about to say who's had the most, and I'm about to say Spider-Man's had the least because it's been in live action the least amount of time. Has there been more Batman or Supermans?
I think there have been
How did
more
they
Superman
feel? How
because
did they feel
Superman's
about Ben Affleck?
Batman Ben Affleck, they were divided. Batfleck was
You know what I feel bad about him is he was a legit nerd. He
Yes.
did Daredevil because he's a nerd. You know what beat the nerdum out of him is the him when he was cast as Batman.
Yeah.
Everything behind the scenes,
that development hell of his was rough.
Right. And he was slated to direct the Batman. He was like all in, and I think he was going through his own personal shit at that time too. Like I think he was divorcing his wife, and he was drinking a lot, whatever. But that whole because I seen something with him recently. I think it was pressed for Accountant 2, and he was a legit fan. Like before he got cast, I think even before like, Daredevil, he was a fan, and I think that's how him and Kevin Smith were even friends back in the day. Is their love of comics and shit, and I think he was good in those movies. Like his Bruce Wayne was on point as an older Batman. I liked his Batman. I didn't like, obviously, you know, same shit nobody else likes. But I think the movie, for whatever, you know, say what you want about it, he was good. I mean, even Henry was good, but
nobody was mad at Batfleck. Most of the discourse came from his casting. I think because they didn't really know.
Because everybody was going off of Daredevil.
Yeah, and I had said immediately,
Oscar-winning actor / director.
I was about to say, I had said immediately whenever he got cast, it was like, if we get a performance out of him as Batman like we did with him in The Town, we're set.
Yes, anything he's done since then. So I think but everybody was like, "Oh, he was in Daredevil. That was a terrible blah blah blah, whatever."
No, that was
one movie. I mean, one movie. 100 years ago, no one cares. But
exactly, and the movie wasn't that bad for back in the day. To be honest with you,
back in the day, exactly. So I was gonna say,
I definitely think Batman gets the most hate because now who hates the character the most, or who gives the most shade to the character? Superman all day, because people just don't like, you know, mom and apple pie like that. They want to hate the fucking the ultimate symbol of good. I've heard that in nerd fandoms for fucking ever.
Do they pass that on to the actor that gets cast too? You think?
It's not necessarily the actor, it's just the role. They usually pan the fact that like Superman has to be there.
Oh, got you.
Because I don't remember Brandon Routh getting it. I remember the lead up to the Brandon Routh Superman.
I don't remember what I said about him, but I wasn't on, you know,
at the time. At the time, he was the best Superman we had got because he reminded people of the Christopher Reeve Superman. And they even to the point where like the world he was in was like old school because it was based off of that era too.
Because that's technically the same Superman as Chris Reeves.
It's the same.
So same world. Yeah.
Which I love that Superman. I wouldn't have been mad if we got that from Man of Steel instead. Yeah. Honestly, I did want Brandon. I remember wanting Brandon Routh to bulk up because he did feel like Superman. But everything else, like his acting was great. I feel about him and Superman the same way I feel about Thomas Jane as the Punisher. And Henry Cavill's casting was fucking perfect. Like that motherfucker is Superman. I don't give a damn what anybody says.
For that universe, I agree. He fits.
The only problem I have with his Superman is nothing to do with him, and it's everything to do with the way Snyder wrote him, because they made him into a hybrid version of Superman Rebirth and shortly after Superman Doomsday. They wanted him to have the naivety and the mom and apple pie of Superman Rebirth, but they wanted to give him that edge like long-haired Superman, the fucker who used to in the
I like long hair Superman.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we all did. Superman like 95 is fucking amazing, but they went about it the wrong way. And so Man of Steel ended up being not as good as it could have been. Also, that weird writing with fucking Kevin Costner as Pa Kent. That was weird. I'm just gonna go ahead and say that.
Should I say if you want to? What?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I'm gonna need a definitive answer from you, Dad.
Like, yeah, it was kind of crazy.
Yeah, they definitely wrote him weird.
Yeah, but all in all, I would say like Superman probably at least used to get the most like hate, but like Batman, the casting was like weird. Because I remember that somebody said a couple episodes ago that people hated Michael Keaton.
Oh yeah,
because he was a comedian.
Yeah, because he was a comedian. Because we found out he had Beetlejuice right before that, and then you get cast as Batman. Like,
yeah,
man,
I actually can see fans.
Yeah.
See fans now being like, what the hell, man?
I can understand totally. I get that kind of outrage. It's like you're casting like a funny dude as Batman, like a serious Batman.
I think I won't say recent, but when Heath Ledger was cast as Joker, everybody's like, the rom-com dude? And this motherfucker put out the best. I would not even like take the Joker out of it. Just his acting in general of just like the definition. Everybody's like, "Oh, I'm crazy." No, that motherfucker is crazy.
He proved that. I love his Joker because number one, he read for the role.
Yeah.
I don't remember I remember hearing about it in college.
Oh, they were. Oh man, they were.
I don't think I remember a single person outside of my friend group who was optimistic about it.
Right. Nobody was, because I think the last thing he did before that was probably
either Lords of Dogtown or like A Knight's Tale or something.
Yeah, it's like A Knight's Tale or something like that. And I probably I'm pretty sure I said the same shit. Like, the prom was good, but you know,
I saw the range, and I saw like Heath Ledger is a serious fucking actor. Like, he can be funny, but like that's him being funny. You look at Heath Ledger, you listen to any of his interviews, and it's immediately apparent he's a very serious, very thoughtful actor. So I was all aboard for it. But like him in that role fucking surprised me. Like, that shit was crazy. I did not expect that good of a job from him. I really didn't.
Yeah. Yeah. That I think it was same thing with Chris Evans. Like, the motherfucker from Fantastic Four, like,
I knew he was gonna do a good job. I never understood the whole.
That's what solved it for me, because he did Sunshine right before. I think he was cast for it, or it was right around that time. I can't remember, but I was like, he can do it. Like, you know, we need a corny white boy. So
yeah, exactly. And I mean, I remember seeing him in the was not the Date movie. I forget what that parody movie he was in.
Oh, teen movie. I think that's
it. But I'm like, him as Johnny Storm? Yeah.
No, I'm talking about Captain America though.
Oh, it's Captain America. Oh.
Yeah. Because he had come off of Fantastic Four, and I can't remember what he did in between those two, but yeah.
No, I can definitely see that. Yeah, I can definitely see why people were worried. But with Batfleck, no, I didn't.
Yeah,
I heard fans were a little bit divided on his casting, but I didn't hear a whole lot of like bad about him, except for like the whole like Batman doesn't kill thing because somebody leaked the parademon fight. He
kills parademons all day.
Yeah, like all fucking day. I mean, they're fucking demons. What do you want? Like,
now, it's been talked to death. You know, that movie of him machine gunning cars and using them as a wrecking ball. Those guys are fucking dead. But
yeah,
I heard this from another podcast. It would have been, they could have easily wrote that scene off as he lost to Robin. Even he still wouldn't kill if you watched,
Red Hood and shit.
Yeah. Red Hood and shit. He still wouldn't kill, but I would give. But at the same time, I also heard the other argument is if he's killing regular dudes, what stops him from killing the Joker off rip?
Exactly.
He would just kill Joker off rip, and so
because it invalidates the whole reason for like Injustice and Kingdom Come.
Right.
Because those two stories are very much a product, or at least a part of Batman's whole moral code.
Mm-hmm.
And like we wouldn't have those universes without that.
Right.
So yeah,
exactly.
But also I wouldn't have been mad if we got like a Bill Finger Batman or a First Wave Batman, just to piss off the nerds who think they know about shit. Because like I've been reading Batman forever, and like they're like the original Batman carried 2 pistols.
I remember that.
Yeah, Bill Finger Batman. Yeah, the early Batman, he carried pistols.
Yeah, 2 pistols. Yeah.
And I think it was Batman First Wave where he teams up with the Spirit and Doc Savage.
And all of them
guns. Yeah, and he uses guns in that motherfucker too.
Yep.
I got to go back and reread that. That was a good one.
I said Zack Snyder, he should have directed an Injustice.
Yes, bro. For as much hate as Zack Snyder gets because of his like the rabid fan base and shit like that, you can't deny that motherfucker makes good movies.
Right.
Like, I'm sorry.
Dawn of the Dead, probably one of my favorite zombie movies.
Yep.
300, great movie.
Absolutely.
But I think he was trying to do too much in those movies, and that's like, it would be perfect for an Injustice movie. Like,
yeah. Also, what the fuck was that with fucking Alexander Luthor? What the fuck?
Oh, you talking about Junior? You talking about his?
Oh my god!
He started with that shit. That was the worst characterization of Lex Luthor ever.
Yeah,
he was miscast with Jesse Eisenberg. It was just all around. He was fucking Mark Zuckerberg, essentially his character from the Social Network.
But guys, they got the best actors for the role.
He taking shit we say.
Listen, a clock is right twice a day.
That was he.
But guys,
but no, that movie is universally hated. Now, if it's a good movie and I say it's the best actor for the role, then I still stand by that phrase.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. No, I've got a couple of those too. What pissed me off about the Injustice movie the most was the fact, like, I love Darkseid. I love Jack Kirby's New Gods. Like that whole run with Infinity Man and fucking Metatron and all that kind of good shit. Like the shit is great. I love Jack Kirby's New Gods. When they explored it in Batman Superman, the animated series, I was all over that shit. Fucking Calabac is a fucking walking lump of muscle with a club. I fucking love it. They made my boy Steppenwolf look so goddamn cool.
You talking about the movie?
Yeah.
I didn't like
and then bitched him out because I knew we were gonna get something weird. I knew we were gonna get something weird. We weren't gonna get proper like outfitted like Darkseid Steppenwolf because nobody respects the drip. I get it. Like
I don't know how he looks in the comics. So does he look like that in the comics? How he did?
No, no, he's a regular dude in the comics. Most of the new gods
are just people.
Are just like they look like regular people. They're all like fifth dimensional beings and shit like that, but they look like regular people.
Yeah, I didn't like he looked in the movie at all.
Yeah, nah, it was weird. I'm also mad that they skipped out on the opportunity to use those Jack Kirby effects.
On what?
On anything really. Like they could have, because he has very distinct like explosions and effects and like particle effects and shit like that. It looks so sci-fi.
Yeah, it's like a lot of orbs and things like
that. Yes, orbs and like splashes and explosions and shit like that. Yeah. And I really feel like they missed an opportunity to do this.
Yeah.
Man, that's how it goes. But back to the original topic though.
I know, right? We barely talked about Last of Us.
motherfucking Last of Us. I'm willing to at least breach the second season if my friends go with me.
Oh yeah. And for a penny and for a pound.
But I'm liking the first season so far. I definitely got some questions. But I'm here for it.
Mm. Yeah, I'm just curious.
I think it helped that I did watch the game he played too.
Yeah. Are you gonna watch? You played the second one? I can't remember if you said or not.
No,
Oh,
no, I've not played any of them.
Are you gonna watch the second one?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And I'm saying that's a long one, so you know get all the.
But it's good though.
It is good. It is really good. Yeah, I like it.
Well, that's all I know about it. If y'all got any more,
how does this happen? Fallout 3 has been renewed for season 3 at Prime Video. Season 2 premieres this December. How? We ain't seen it.
Season 1.
Warren. Not saying it might not be good. Season 1 was banging.
Right, but they don't. They just greenlight these things and
who rates it? Who warrants it?
Oh, Amazon got all that money. They don't care,
right, man.
This is what I'm talking about. How the fuck did they get the green light for any more of Rings of Power? That shit is trash.
Neve
that
Campbell
shit, like,
reportedly being cast as Polaris in the MCU.
Who?
Neve Campbell. What the?
Neve Campbell.
Who's Polaris?
Magneto's daughter.
Oh, really? We ain't even got a fucking Magneto yet.
Exactly.
Oh, so now I'm wondering how old they're going with the X-Men cast then.
I think they're going for like a multiverse, another multiverse thing. As much as they said they're not gonna, they weren't like they're gonna get rid of it.
We ain't got time for no young X-Men. We ain't got time.
Yeah.
Didn't they retcon Scarlet Witch and all them being his kids?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
did. They slowly retconned her accent too. That shit was ugly.
They really
the way they did that.
He had it in the first one. And it wasn't terrible. It was kind of like how Yelena did it in Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
And then she pretty much doesn't have it anymore.
She couldn't keep it up because of the reshoots and the consistency. Right. Like it was like they realized in post, and then they scrambled and like, fuck it, we'll just explain it away later. And she slowly loses the accent. She
doesn't have the accent, but her speech pattern is really low. I won't say, yeah, like
it's very stilted.
Yeah, and I think that's so you can't tell that the accent's gone. But yeah, she ain't got that shit anymore. But yeah, I'm trying to think. Do they even mention? No, yeah, they did retcon it because she mentions that she was in that building with her and her brother with her parents, and they died in when the missiles hit or whatever. So yeah, that's weird because that's like a big part of her and her brother's character. But I guess we'll go with the third kid, Polaris.
Yeah.
We ain't. Yeah, they're gonna have to multiverse them in because, like I said, a big part of them, especially Magneto and Professor X, are their backstories. So you can't just oh yeah, we've been around this whole time in this in the MCU. Like, nah.
Well, if they wanted to, they could.
Yeah, but they'd be old already. Is that what you mean? Yeah. Oh, okay.
No, they could just they could just do that shit.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, don't make them young is what I mean.
Yeah,
because they need to have survived. But they be old as shit though, because they be older than they were in the old X-Men movies. Like,
well, it would fit with what it feels like they're always trying to do because they're always trying to phase out the older characters, like within a couple of movies. Like it's what they're always doing. Like we got one movie out of the Hulk, and then he shows up in a couple of Avengers movies, but then by She-Hulk, we're getting ready to replace him.
You're right, and that's mostly because what these actors get contracted in. But you can't. Yeah. Do you think about it? If they cast an age appropriate of either one of them, I hate to knock on wood, you might not get 10 movies out of them because they could be old.
You know what's crazy? This is something I've been talking about for a while now within the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I don't want 10 movies with these motherfuckers.
You do.
I would just. I don't.
Oh, okay. I don't think they do anymore.
I just want actual movies. Right. Like we talk about like, oh, we have all these movies with Hawkeye. We have not seen Hawkeye in his own movie. We have not seen anything that gives him his own spotlight except for fucking that show, and that show is mostly about Kate.
Exactly, and that's handing the reins over type deal. Yeah,
exactly. Like when did we get Hawkeye? When did we get to see Hawkeye do his thing?
Never.
Like
really.
And like not for nothing, Hawkeye's one of my favorite characters within the Avengers. Like I love manual characters. So like I love Warpath, I love Deadpool, I love Wolverine, I love Captain America, I love Hawkeye. Like I love those characters that, like, even though they have a little bit of power or something like that, they come from the street. They have to they have to climb the building. They can't just fly. They have to climb the building. They have to leap. They have to like do extra shit in order to compete with everybody else. That's why I love when people talk about like, Captain America, anybody could play Captain America, anybody could be Captain America. No, because John Walker ain't fucking parkouring up Giant Man to grab him by his cheek and fucking rock bottom him into the street at 60 feet tall. John Walker's not doing that shit. John Walker's not walking up to the fucking Green Hulk and kicking him square in the nuts, lifting him at least 5 feet off the ground. He's not doing that. I'm sorry. Like that comes from having that scrappy person in you, as Steve Rogers, that little motherfucker who would fight God and everybody in the room back before he had the super soldier serum.
Yeah, but they need to announce something quick. I'd like to see some of these movies before I'm 60.
Yeah, before I forget who the X-Men. Oh, the X-Men gonna be the motherfucker stealing my pills.
We're gonna be in the movie theater with Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
Who the hell are we here to see again?
And one used to shoot lasers out of his eyes, and he had claws, and it was like, all right, old man.
That's not a dog card. Like what?
Yeah. This isn't Spider-Man.
Yeah.
All right. So, all in all, we all wonder so far. We will revisit this when we start season 2 to discuss season 2. But so far, we are enjoying season. I am enjoying my rewatch. One is enjoyed. Rico enjoyed. We all believe that the writers I found out today are writing the show as well. Stay faithful in that first season. We'll see what they have to do in season 2. You guys got any final words?
No, just go touch grass and read a book.
Oh, also, man, yeah, all of the Takiti films, he ain't got nothing on the books except for one movie called Clara and the Sun. It's about a robot that keep people
who you talking
company while they're
Taika Waititi.
Oh,
good. I have a special place of hate in my heart for Taika Waititi because he did the shit on purpose. He pissed off people on purpose for no other reason than it was funny to him to subvert expectations of longtime fans, and it blew up in his face because his movies are fucking trash. The only good thing about Ragnarok was the cameo for Beta Ray Bill in the background where his statue's up there. And also the scene with the Hulk when him and Thor are fucking talking and shit. That shit was funny as fuck.
Oh, okay. I like when they fought too.
Yeah. That's it. That fight scene was good.
Yeah.
But yeah, it like there aren't many directors and producers that get my hate like that, because most of them just don't care. Their decisions amount to like, what's going to get me the most money, what's going to get me to the next movie or some shit like that.
Taika Waititi, we would love to have you on to debate your
I would like to ask
process.
Questions. Yeah, I would like to ask very many questions about that. But people like him, people like Kathleen Kennedy, they just hold special places in my heart.
Hate in your heart.
Yes.
Rage.
Exactly.
Everyone but Takiti
however the fuck you say his name.
For Wanda, I don't mind if you listen. He don't care if you listen. Laser Helen, we don't care if you listen either.
What were they calling her online? They were calling her something.
Yeah, it was awful.
Something headlamp.
Who are you talking about?
Leslie Helen.
Oh, they were calling her something headlamp. I don't remember what it was. It was fucking hilarious though.
Thank you guys and everyone, gals, for listening. Like and share, subscribe, listen to us ramble on and going for a tangent. We're Last of Us, but we went on like a 40-minute tangent.
I'm also on
Yeah,
other.
I noticed that.
That was nice. I love it. So thank you for sharing, subscribing. We'll catch you guys, everyone, next time. And as always, catchphrase.
Don't forget to have fun.
I said catchphrase first, but read a book.
Not everybody biting.
You don't have to take my word for it.
He bit mine, so I had to bite yours back.
And then I bit it again with the read a rainbow.
It's like AI right now. We steal from each other.
Oh my God.
Y'all see that thing about the AI talk? Yeah, that's another episode.
Oh,
Y'all take care.
All right.
All right.
Bye.
Peace.